Every Friday, we pull ourselves out of the echo chamber that is the Seattle area and fill you in on what's happening in a much, much different place of the country. It's time for our segment, Florida Report.
It's not even controversial anymore.
People know in Florida their freedoms are going to be respected.
Joining us again is our Florida correspondent, my sister Miranda. And who's this?
This is Nimbus 2000. She is the mother of all my baby bunnies.
So last week, if you missed our debut episode, I said you were weird and you belonged in Florida because you had a pack of rabbits named after Harry Potter characters. This is the original, right?
No, this is the second one that I brought in. The original is Sirius Black. That's the dad.
What is Nimbus 2000?
Nimbus 2000 is the broom that they ride on when they play Quidditch in the movies.
You lured him there with food, I can see.
I did. There's little pieces of papaya.
And then you're really serious about Harry Potter. You have some tattoos. Are any of them visible right now?
Yeah, I have a 9 3/4 tattoo right here. And all my rabbits are named after different Harry Potter things and people.
Yeah, you belong in Florida. Okay, we have a follow-up to start with today. Last week we talked about how Ron DeSantis authorized a competition hunt for invasive Burmese pythons. The competition hasn't started yet.
No.
But there was a big old snake that someone caught. They should have waited to turn it in until the competition started. What do you got?
It's true. And I'm actually, out of respect for my rabbit, I'm going to let her not be here for the snake conversation.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
All right, cool. So today out of the Miami Herald, we have 215-pound invasive Burmese python is the heaviest to be found in Florida, biologists say. A Burmese python nearly 18 feet long, weighing 215 pounds, has been caught in the Everglades, and it sets a weight record for the troublesome invasive species in Florida, according to the Conservancy of Southwest Florida. The nonprofit Conservancy also announced the find on June 22nd and reports the female also carried a record number of 122 eggs developing in her abdomen. And it goes on to say that on average, they should only have about 45 in a clutch. So she's really packing.
She's real fertile.
She's very fertile.
So how'd they capture this one?
They use male snakes to track down the much larger females. So they actually use these males that they deploy and track around the Everglades. And they had been following this male around, and he kept hanging out in this one area, and they knew why he was there. So when they ended up finally tracking him down, they found him with the biggest female they said they have ever seen in the state of.
It's like a reverse honeypot. So he thought he was going to get lucky, and she thought she was also going to get lucky, and she wasn't lucky.
She wasn't. I mean, they did talk about how they did I think it's called a necropsy. Necropsy on an animal. Her last meal was an adult white-tailed deer. So you can see that these things take out pretty much our largest animals we have in Florida. So they're pretty problematic.
Wow, that's quite an update. Okay, another animal-related, kind of animal-adjacent story. This is an animal episode. We've got bunnies, we got snakes, and we have like wiener dogs, I think.
Yeah, this is about a sausage dog.
A sausage dog. Isn't that a wiener dog? They call it a sausage dog?
They call it a sausage dog. Newsweek.com says Florida man who won $2 million lottery credits his pregnant sausage dog. A Florida man is thanking his pregnant Dutch hound after he won the top prize of $2 million from a scratch-off ticket. He apparently left after he got a call that his Dutch hound was about to go into birth or labor, and stopped and grabbed a scratcher on his way home.
So I don't even understand how he credits his dog with that. So basically his dog was in labor and he made a detour.
Yeah, he took a different route home, and he just, I guess if it wasn't for her, he wouldn't have bought it. So I hope she gets a lot of snacks for being such a good girl.
Yeah, a little diamond encrusted collar or something. Okay, I like that.
I'd credit my animals with a lot of things if I had the opportunity to, so.
That's true. Last one you've got for us is immigration. And this is interesting because I guess Florida isn't the first place that pops into my mind when I think about undocumented immigrants. But it is, like we've seen an influx across the southern border, and there have also been an influx on the beaches of Florida, right?
Yeah, I mean, as long as I've lived in Miami, I've heard the random local news stories about immigrants reaching the beach on makeshift rafts. This story out of the Miami Herald talks about the bigger issues that we have right now. It says, bigger than Mariel, 140,000 Cubans have arrived at US borders since October. It says the number of Cubans fleeing poverty and oppression on the island surpassed the Mariel exodus of 1980, as US government data reveals more than 140,000 Cubans were detained at US borders between October last year and May of this year. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, and so some of them might be coming across the actual land border, but as you were saying, I remember you telling me stories of, so if nobody's been to Miami Beach, it's like a high-end beach, but during spring break and all that, I mean, it is jam-packed. You used to tell me stories about how the spring breakers, when there's like the wet foot, dry foot policy, they would surround the migrants coming off their makeshift rafts so they could touch the sand.
Yes, and I mean, at that time, I don't think I fully understood the concept of wet foot, dry foot, but it was always just kind of like cool and interesting to see these things happen like in front of your eyes and not just on the news, and watch people just kind of like help people out. I mean, these people float for days across shark infested waters to get here. So, you know, just lending them a little extra hand to get to the sand. I always thought that was kind of nice, but 140,000 is a lot. And it does say that these are coming through Mexico, not just Florida. But just a few days ago, we had the Coast Guard intercepted 36 migrants just a few miles south of the Keys. So this happens all the time down here, very, very consistently.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate. And, you know, the compassionate side of me is like, okay, you have to think about how bad things are for them to float on a raft up to Florida, and the same with migrants, you know, marching 1,000 miles with their kids, drowning in the Rio Grande. So I'm really of the belief that we need to make first legitimate asylum claims as easy as possible while still going through all the checks. Legal immigration, we need to get rid of the red tape. And then you can make illegal immigration, where you've got the drug traffickers and the human traffickers. Then you can make that as hard as possible, because it is heartbreaking. You don't want people to die trying to come to this country, but
no, and they really do. And I think most of my friends who are Cuban, they're here because their parents came in the 80s during that initial exodus. So like in Miami, that migration of that many Cubans completely shaped and formed our city to what it is today. And it is not only beautiful, but it's eclectic and it's cultural, and the food is phenomenal. So there definitely needs to be some attention paid to weed out the immigrants who are coming to contribute to our society here, and the people who are coming to not contribute and create problems, because there's definitely a difference between the two.
Yeah, your Republican mayor in Miami, he's a first generation American, but I think his parents were Cuban.
Yeah.
I think so, and he's really popular, so I like him a lot.
He gets around the city. He's always at events and stuff. He's very active guy. So.
All right, well, I'll let you go, Miranda. It looks like weed on your counter now. For the record, if someone joined us late, that's rabbit food. It's not marijuana. All right, Miranda with this week's edition of Florida Report. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, thank you.
It's not even controversial anymore.
People know in Florida their freedoms are going to be respected.
If you like this video, make sure to become an undivided subscriber to help us grow this mission to give common sense a comeback. You can do that in two ways: at patreon.com/undivided, or by becoming a contributor on my locals community, brandikruse.locals.com. Thank you to the founding sponsor of Undivided, 1530 Mortgage. Visit them at 1530mortgage.com.